It's in the way. Do I need to move it?
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe and my special guest, Councilwoman from Ward 4, Meredith Lawson-Rowe. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Riddlesburg.
We have a jam-packed show. This has been a couple of weeks since we've had a show, so welcome back. I feel refreshed and energized after being on a vacation for a little bit. But unfortunately, I do have to start off with a little bit of bad news. I just wanted to say my condolences to the family of Tyler Cullinan, who passed away this weekend in a tragic accident. He was on our planning commission and had been for a number of years, and a resident of Riddlesburg. And that's just something that I can't imagine what his family is going through. But again, our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family through this tragic time. Trying to pivot like a newscast, you say something tragic and bad and then you try and uplift things. I also want to say congratulations to our very own Donna Bauman for her basically being honored by being selected as a Grand Marshal for this 4th of July parade. It's thanks to our partner, the Riddlesburg Community Association, for this, and whoever nominated Donna, you could not have selected a better person. Really special moment for this, and it's also interesting because she's going to be dragging the city function, the people that are going to be in the city, up to the front of the line of the parade, so that'll be good, which means we can get a better seat for the police and firefighter softball game that'll be happening at Huber Park at the very end of everything. So I know who I'm rooting for. So with that, let's just dive right into it, because there's a lot of things that I have to cover, but really the big thing is Juneteenth. We were talking about this the other day, and Juneteenth started in front of City Hall with some spoken word poetry, a song. I think there was a little bit of a dance, and it was COVID, and people had masks on, and that's when we had the yardsticks, and we were only standing so close to each other. And now all of a sudden, I think this Saturday is going to be a little bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken. So why don't you tell us a little bit about? Why don't you tell us about what's different between the last couple of years and this year?
Well, it is Juneteenth week, specifically Riddlesburg Juneteenth week, and we are so very excited. So what's different now versus year one? Well, this is the 3rd annual Riddlesburg Juneteenth. It will be at Huber Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're going to kick off at 10 a.m. with a 5K, and that is hosted by Columbus Ice, which is a youth sports program. 100% of the proceeds go to Columbus Ice. We don't have anything to do with it. It's just under the umbrella of Riddlesburg Juneteenth. Something special and new this year is live entertainment at 10 a.m., and that will be For His Purpose Gospel Band. So that's something new. So we're really excited about that. So we'll actually get to cheer on our walkers and our runners from the 5K, and they'll get to hear music. And our vendors, as they're organizing, they get to hear live music as well. So on top of that, we'll have health screenings like we had last year. We have several healthcare related agencies, along with resource related businesses and agencies that will be participating as well. So we're very excited. So not only will we have the usual vendors, such as your small businesses, but we'll have some agencies out here in our community to connect with our neighbors and help provide information for services that they provide. So quick example, Action for Children. They're one of our top tier sponsors. So when I think of Action for Children, I think of, okay, maybe referrals for childcare, but there's so much more to Action for Children than childcare. So I'm excited. We'll have those agencies coming in our neighborhood.
I'm thrilled with it. It's been, and we talked about it after the first year, and I told you, I remember saying something very similar to, I don't think you realize what you started. And from year one to year two, it became something else. And then I think this is going to be the year that, talk about a destination where, we're not just going to have people coming in from Riddlesburg. This is going to be where you're going to have people coming from all over Central Ohio to this event. And I'm thrilled. I'm excited to do it. We have t-shirts, and you know how much I love t-shirts, so I'll be in a t-shirt. But I'll be out there for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Grab a bite to eat. I always find it funny. You get your health screenings and then you go to a food truck, and I'm sure it's all perfectly healthy food.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have salads, but we also will have hot dogs and hamburgers, fair food.
So I'll get one of those things.
And you can also pick up a smoothie or a tea and get some energy. Yep. There's water.
There we go. I'm excited about it. Hope everybody can join us this Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looks like the weather is going to be nice, and I don't think anyone's going to be melting on Saturday like today.
No, the high, I think, is supposed to be 80 degrees, so that will be a welcome relief. I've been stalking our weathermen on all three stations, as my kids would say, and we will not have to run from the rain like we had last year. But speaking of t-shirts, let me just give a shout out to Starstruck, one of our very favorite locally owned businesses here on Main Street. This is, can you see this okay? Mm-hmm. This is the exclusive design that was created specifically for Riddlesburg Juneteenth. So you won't see this anywhere. And this is for sale online, and you can also purchase it. They're one of our vendors and sponsors. And allow me just to proudly share and display all of the wonderful sponsors that are making Juneteenth happen here in Riddlesburg. And it's just amazing. I couldn't be more proud of all of the businesses that want to come here and connect with our neighbors here in the city.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, with this, one of the things, and I don't know if everybody, how much everybody's watching out there pays a lot of attention, but you are in constant communication with your constituents, whether it's through Facebook or emails, or really, I think the big thing that is your little walkabouts. That when you're walking through the neighborhoods, I love them, and they can be really frustrating at times because all of a sudden I get pictures of, this is a code enforcement issue, or check on this thing and check on this thing. And it's like, well, I know when she's walked. If I didn't see it on social media, I know when you've walked. But that's what you're supposed to do. And that's exactly why it's such a unique thing out there for you to go out and see what's out there. So how does this help you really address the needs that you see in the community? How is it that makes it easy for people to come up and say something to you about what they're looking for in their representation?
Well, I'm just a normal person like you, and so I started the ward walkabout selfishly so that I could get out of the house and see other people that didn't have the last name Rowe. And so being out, it gave me more of an opportunity to meet neighbors. And a lot of us, I'm not sure if you can identify, but you may know your neighbor by face. You may see one another in the driveway, and you put your hand up, and that's about it. But when you start seeing one another more than once a month or once a quarter, you begin building a relationship. And you're like, hey, how's it going, Joe? How's the family? What's going on at work? Or what are you guys doing for the holidays? And so it's really, really built my foundation in connecting with my neighbors, because they see me, they recognize me, we throw our hands up, we say hi, and then they're like, hey, I have a question for you. My street light is out. Who do I call? And I said, well, you're supposed to call X, Y, and Z. You can find it on the website. But if you send me the information, I'll run it up the flagpole. And so that's what you're talking about, is because when I see code violations, or I have questions, or neighbors ask me questions, I send it right over to you and whomever department it touches. And I think whenever they call me, or I respond to their email, or call them back to address their question, sometimes people are really surprised that I answer the phone. Yeah. And two, they're surprised that I respond to what their email is or their question. And sometimes I get so who's your scheduler? I'd like to schedule an appointment with you. And I said, you're talking to her? And so I guess my inside joke with Jennifer, our fabulous, she needs a raise, fabulous.
You control that, by the way.
Special events coordinator. If I had a staff, I would be dangerous. Mm-hmm. And so I love connecting with people. It is, I think it's my passion and my calling is to help connect the dots and provide assistance where possible. And if I don't know the answer, I do answer and say, I don't know, but I'll try to find out, or at least connect you with the right person. And so I'll tell them to call the mayor's office and then take it from there.
I think one of my favorite things, outside of the fact, that you do provide us the information, because sometimes, it's a big city. There's a lot of things out there. We don't see everything. And you are that additional set of eyes and ears out there. And because your constituents know that they can talk to you about it, it helps do things. My favorite thing, though, is when you email and you say, what are we doing about X, Y, or Z? And I can email you, we're already taking care of it, should already be done. And I enjoy those emails because it's just fun. It's just fun. But again, it's one of those things, thank you for being out in the community, and thank you for bringing those things to our attention, because obviously we all want to kind of make our community what we all want it to be.
Well, thank you. It gives me an opportunity to see what our neighbors see. So I get to see my street and my sidewalks every day, but I don't get to see your streets and sidewalks every day. And when I see, I love telling this story. There is an apartment complex that had, and I'll just call a spade, a raggedy driveway and a raggedy right-of-way. And I got on your and Mr. Dorman's nerves I kept knocking and saying, when are we going to take care of this? It's been like this since X, Y, and Z. And one day I happened to walk over there and I was like, blah! Now, it didn't happen overnight. Yeah. And I shared that on social media. This is what happens when concerns are raised. They're addressed. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, and sometimes it's not perfect, and sometimes it's addressed, but not to your liking. But it takes time. Yeah. Be patient, but please run it up the flagpole.
Yeah, because if we don't know about it, there's nothing we can do to solve it.
Absolutely.
Now, aside from stalking you as you're walking through your neighborhood, what are some other great ways to get in contact with you if somebody's watching? And I realize, in theory, you are a representative for your ward, the Ward 4 area. But the reality is, if somebody's watching and they live outside of Ward 4, it's not like you're going to ask for their address and verify and say, no, you don't live in my ward, and hang up. So what is the best way that you'd say for somebody out there watching, if they have a question or concern, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, just call me. And I'm glad you asked that, because I think I wrote down my phone number, because I don't call myself that often. Okay, 614-655-8668. 614-655-8668. Please call me, leave a message, send a text, and I'll respond to you. Another way is email, and my email address is, you can either email me at the city's email address or via Gmail, and that is Lawson-Rowe, 4, Riddlesburg @gmail.com. And Lawson-Rowe is not hyphenated, it's all together. Lawson-Rowe, 4, Riddlesburg @gmail.com.
And believe me, everybody out there, she'll answer your questions. She'll get back in touch with you. Now, summer isn't, really in full swing now with the heat. Other than Juneteenth, because we know how that is a whole different category, but other than Juneteenth, what are some of your favorite activities that you see the city doing that you like to participate in?
Oh, yes. Well, it feels like August out there today. I'm not complaining. I'd rather have this any day over the snow. My favorite, obviously, is the Tomato Festival. It's this year and last year I participated, and I always mess up this name. Is it the Artists and Makers Market? Did I say it right?
Close.
Okay, I was close. Close, but no cigar. I love the farmers market. I didn't get out there this week. I will be there this week. Last week, I will be there this week. I'm looking forward to those strawberries. Are amazing. And another fun item that I picked up last year is lip balm. I know that's random, but I love lip balm. And then I really want to take advantage of the music that we have going So one benefit to COVID, I think, is the music in the cul-de-sacs, because that was created during COVID, correct? Mm-hmm. So I haven't had a chance to participate in those. So I plan on attending at least one, and the concerts on the line. So again, our fabulous special events coordinator needs more staff, and she needs a raise, because all of the events that the city is doing is amazing.
All right, where council says something, and it's funny because occasionally Jennifer has a really good way of saying things, and she's talking about, and she'll say, we can't do this because of something. So this most recently, it was this past weekend when we unfortunately had to cancel our first concert
that was
on.
Terrible.
She's like, yeah, if we had a big tent that could cover the stage, then we would have been able to do it, and maybe we could have had this. And I'm like, you're not telling me that for any other reason other than say that I would like a big tent for the stage. But she does it in a great way.
You have to plant the seeds in order to keep moving the city forward. So let's go, Mayor. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, then you'll see that legislation coming up soon. So we did start a new website, and I will talk a little bit about that more. Have you had a chance to take a look at it?
I have, and it is amazing. It's so fresh and bright and crisp. The pictures of just the different images here in Riddlesburg. There's one picture, I think, are the streets lined with the fall colors, the autumn leaves, images of our parks, images of our community center. Just fantastic. I like the user friendliness of it, in terms of it will ask you the question of what you're looking for. So I thought that was amazing. And I saw where you can actually pay some bills online. Mm-hmm. So I actually, did some browsing. And I saw that I can pay my water bill online. Yeah. I appreciate that. I will continue writing my checks to save that $4 fee.
Yeah. I don't blame you at all. All right. Do we have any questions for Councilwoman Lawson-Rowe?
No questions.
Nothing. Then you've answered everybody's everything.
Well, I would be remiss if I did not share. Can you see this? This is our itinerary, and it's been all over social media for Saturday. And then one thing that I didn't share that we're doing differently this year is we're actually kicking off Riddlesburg Juneteenth Friday. Did I share that already?
No.
So Friday we're kicking it off at the Riddlesburg Community YMCA with Branches of Excellence talent show. It's a youth talent show where Riddlesburg young people will be featured with their talents, and we have a special guest that's coming back to Riddlesburg. I think this may be their third time coming to Riddlesburg, the Toussaint West African Dance Institute. And so their youth ensemble will be performing, so we're very excited about that. And then, of course, the granddaddy of it all, Riddlesburg Juneteenth, the third Saturday in June at Huber Park. And we're so excited about that because our 12 noon program will offer the historical context of Juneteenth. So we know Juneteenth is about fun, fellowship, and hanging out and having music and good food. But there's also a serious historical context to it. And I want people to leave understanding at least one or two extra things about Juneteenth. Juneteenth has a flag. If you haven't noticed, we've tried to include it in all of our promotional items, along with our volunteer t-shirts. This is the Juneteenth flag. There's symbolism and meaning behind it all. That's all I could share at this time, because if I continue talking, you won't have any more time for the rest of your show.
Well, don't worry. I think you're still well short of the record that we have as far as longest show. Well, if you have some time, would you mind sticking around for a little bit as I kind of talk about some other things going on?
I would love to. I'm honored to be here.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So we've got a couple of things coming up. We did talk about our new website. So there's a lot of things that you're going to have access to with it. We're also going to be adding some bells and whistles. One thing you can do right now is if you want to come be part of the team here at Riddlesburg, we actually do have some positions available. We have a code enforcement officer, so that way you can get the emails from Councilwoman Lawson-Rowe just like everyone else. We are also going to be looking to we're ready to expand and take our social work initiative to the next level and bring on an additional social worker.
Excellent.
We are also looking for a Parks and Recreation superintendent. So if you're involved in getting, for the baseball, the soccer, the athletics, and then some of the other artistic activities and things like that, we have a position for you for that. We have a maintenance specialist and an equipment worker, and coming soon, that's just went through council on Monday, is a diversity, equity, and inclusion officer. So once we get through the procedural things with City Council, we'll be able to go ahead and post that position. It's going to be a shared position between the city and our school district, and it's a great partnership between the two of us to identify how this is all going to work together to make sure that we are representing every part of our community here in Reynoldsburg at all levels. So I'm really enthusiastic about that.
May I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
You just triggered my memory that I wanted to share something. In the light of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Council has created an award. And so the inaugural award of the George J. Stabo Juneteenth Legacy Award will be unveiled and awarded during our 12 noon program, where the historical context comes in. And of course, if you don't know George J. Stabo, he is a veteran that is located, his remains are located, I'm thinking out loud, in the historical Seceder Cemetery. That is the oldest cemetery here in Reynoldsburg, and it has veterans from the War of 1812, the Civil War, and the Revolutionary War. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, so the George J. Stabo Award will be awarded to a member of our community that has highlighted specific work in our community as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's good. So in addition, one of the things that the city is going to do, and you'll probably see this sometime, I would say in late July, early August, is while we do have our positions here, we also recognize that a lot of our local businesses in the surrounding areas are also looking for workers. So we're actually going to have something available for some of our local businesses, if they choose to participate, to basically be able to post links to their jobs that they have at their community area. So I know that I'm looking forward to that. Because the idea is this: we all know that there's people out there that would like to work. Maybe they don't realize that they have some great jobs right here in Reynoldsburg that they can participate in all the way throughout. So we've got that. Kind of going a little bit off to that as our code enforcement issues. Just a reminder to everybody out there, especially with the rain and everything growing, please try to maintain your sidewalks in terms of one, don't blow the grass into the street. Make sure you keep all that stuff out of our storm sewers. And then if you're walking on a sidewalk, make sure that your trees and shrubs that are by it are clear of the sidewalk so people can access all the way back and forth through all of that. So we've got that going for us in code enforcement. And again, we'll work with you on the grass because depending on A, the heat, and B, the rain, sometimes the combination is such that it's really hard for people to get out there to cut their grass in that regard. There's a big difference though between grass that comes to your ankle and grass that comes to your waist. If it's to your waist, probably want to go ahead and start working on cutting that one. So, Main Street update. For those of you that have been driving up and down Main Street, I just have some good news. Right now, knock on wood, construction crews are actually putting in the sidewalk on the south side of the street on Main Street from the animal hospital all the way basically back to the bridge is what was on task for today. And then tomorrow, and this is kind of big news, and as long as the weather holds and everything else goes okay, tomorrow they are going to be putting in the little asphalt curb on the side of everything, all the way up through and past Vicks, and then they're going to be filling in the intersection. And then hopefully within 24 hours after that is put in, that intersection at Lancaster and Main will be open. So we're hoping to get it open up before the big rush on Friday. So for some of our local businesses out there, especially Vicks, 1883 Locale, if you guys are listening, again, we're working as hard to get that open as quick as we possibly can. So that is a huge thing for us, so keep an eye on that. Again, this is all weather depending. This is all materials depending and all of that. But as of when I talked to the crews this morning, we're still on task for all of that stuff. With that, we have just a reminder for everybody that we have a women's defense class coming up in September. It's September 6th and 7th, 12th and 14th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. And it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for young ladies from the ages of 12 and up to actually participate in learn a little bit about self-defense and some classroom activities, but then also they get to put the big pads on and throw each other around a lot. My wife is actually going to be in that class in September, so she's going to go ahead and participate in that. And now, as I mentioned at council, I do have great news. If I made the announcement when I was on vacation in Central Park, because I thought what better way to do it than in Central Park. The city of Riddlesburg did receive the award for the grant for the flood mitigation process. I'm very enthusiastic about it. I just want to kind of go through a few things for those of you that, because we weren't able to broadcast on Monday through the council chambers. So I just want to go and give you an idea of what the scope of the project is going to be. The project qualifies and is intended to evaluate facilities or areas to determine appropriate mitigation actions. The evaluation will consider numerous flood mitigation activities to determine their feasibility for construction and the associated project costs, including 1, either individual building retrofits or elevation, 2, acquisition of flood-prone buildings and beneficial reuse of the resulting open space, 3, hydrologic improvements such as regional stormwater detention basins, as well as hydraulic improvements such as channel modifications and bridge replacements, levee systems, and specifically this last one, I'll make sure everybody understands, localized drainage improvements. This is going to be done through an engineering firm in conjunction with the Army Corps of Engineers. There's going to be representatives from the EPA out there, and we're going to have a number of public meetings in this process. We will have at least 4 public meetings, and the scope of those will be there. We'll probably have one that is a very general public meeting, and then there may be smaller specific ones about specific areas of town. So that way, if you live in the Briarcliff area, then that would be one obviously that you would want to come to. If you live somewhere else further away but still have some flooding issues that might not be associated with Blacklick Creek, they'll be there. So we're going to go ahead and do this, but the whole goal of this is to actually create a plan and options with the cost estimates laid out. So what the city can do moving forward for this very long-standing problem. We know that there's been excessive weather. We've had obviously incredibly hot days. We've had very intense rain that has contributed to a lot of this stuff. So we're actually going to have those solutions there. It is going to take some time. It's going to be basically an 18-month process all the way through, and then at that point in time, then it'll be up to City Council and our office to basically present the options to the community about what the next steps are to really get into it. So they're going to tell us all of that stuff from the experts. So please stay tuned. If you had experienced flooding any time in the last couple of years or really the last decade or so, make sure you reach out to the mayor's office so we can get you on our information distribution list. So that way, when we send something out that you're there, don't get me wrong, we're going to be sending letters out. We're going to have social media. We're going to have the message boards. Everything's going to be there. But anything that we can do to make sure that you get the information is going to be a good thing. So we do have another item. We've got a couple of yard signs back here, but we also have a special shout out to our Arts Commission, our Welcoming and Diversity, and our Beautification Commission for a sign that reflects Reynoldsburg. So are we good? All right. So if you can take a look at this, this was designed by the commissions that talks about some things that they felt represented what Reynoldsburg is all about: respect, inclusion, diversity, opportunity, education, and history. These are going to be available for you at Juneteenth this weekend. There's a few here still left at City Hall for those of you that like to come in. But this is a great opportunity to do this. And this is the Arts Commission first kind of like dipping the toe into getting some, I don't want to call it public art, but bringing a little bit of color, bringing a little bit of recognition to our community in here. So if you want one of those signs, make sure you check those out. I do have some news about our parks as well. One, and this is parks and everywhere else. I have 2 puppies. I call them puppies, even though neither of them are puppies anymore. But I've got 2 dogs. I've got a German Shepherd and I've got a Pomeranian. So it's a really big dog and a really little one. And the little one's actually scarier. But when we go for a walk, we always have to make sure they have their leashes. Sometimes people might forget that. So especially in our parks and in our neighborhoods, please make sure that you have your dogs leashed because it's just safer for everybody. Make sure that if you have young children, you teach them the best way to how to approach a dog. Make sure you talk about, can you pet the dog and what kind of things are out there with that. So keep that in mind. And we have a lot of fun things coming up in our Parks and Rec department. First of all, fall soccer registration, baseball and softball registration is open right now. So if you're participating in any of those, please do so. And if you want to be a volunteer coach for soccer, baseball, or softball, make sure you go ahead and join into that. They could use all the help they can get. Some events coming up in July is Seashell Art on the 10th, Nature Night Out on the 15th, This is an interesting one, Take Apart Lab. This is exactly what I think everybody would really want to do. This is basically where you're going to sit and you're just going to take stuff apart. And you don't have to put it back together, because usually when you do, there's like 3 or 4 pieces left over and you don't know where they go. But it's going to be another opportunity to kind of do some things, get into some like older technology, computers, TVs, VCRs, things like that. Everything's safe, but just to get an idea about what it's like to kind of understand like the mechanics of everything. So it's a really cool idea. And then this is also another fun one, bringing it back again, Smash Art.
I want to do that.
Yes.
I missed out on that last one.
So there you go. So that'll be on July 26th.
Okay.
And you can go on our new website and check out the Parks and Recs page and go ahead and do it and pay for the registration fee for that as well. So
Extra $4 fee?
I don't think so, but wow.
I'll bring my check.
There we go. Wait, you know where the Parks office is too, so
yes.
It's a lot easier. We do have a lot of things to kind of go over for development. I don't have any groundbreaking or huge news, but I do want to provide some updates for a couple of things. The first one is the Center Ice Foundation, which is also one of the sponsors for Juneteenth.
The independent sponsor for Juneteenth. That is the top tier level sponsor, Center Ice Foundation.
All right, so while I was on vacation, the state of Ohio went through a process with Center Ice and myself. We actually applied for state capital budget dollars to help in the process in building this location. And the state did award Center Ice Foundations a good amount of money for that. So we're going to continue to build up the coffers for that. We're going to have a meeting with them in the next couple of weeks to kind of figure out exactly where everyone stands. I know that there's a lot of people behind it. They've got a lot of momentum. There's a lot, and this was a great bipartisan effort. It was Republicans and Democrats in the state house working together for this one. So everybody realizes how valuable this is and what a good opportunity it's going to be for our community to have this area where, again, when it's a really 99,000 degree day, you can go and sit and enter the ice arena to cool off as well. So it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it, to get this in there. It is not an easy task to get all this stuff together. So a big shout out to everybody who's been involved in the Center Ice Foundation all the way across. This was started basically, to be honest with you, this was started by sports moms. And the sports moms said that they want something for the next generation of hockey players, the next generation of athletes. And they have, with determination that only sports moms, and I know, she knows what I'm talking about, that determination to make things better. We're getting closer every single day. It's one of those things where we're a couple yards away from finishing this thing off. So anytime that we ask for support out there, or anytime that we have an activity with it, make sure that you, again, support the Center Ice Foundation. We also have the Alliance. The Alliance facility is going to be on the corner of Bryce and Main Street. I should have pretty pictures to show you sometime, maybe September, maybe October. We're just trying to figure it out, but I'll have some pretty pictures to show you what it actually looks like. We've seen kind of like the floor schematics. These are the boring ones where it just looks like lines on a piece of paper. But it's a lot of things that we've already talked about. There's going to be some convention space. There's going to be office space, retail. We're looking to have a very cornerstone restaurant to come into our community as well in that area to help kick off that entire redesign of Bryce Road. So once I have those pictures and I'm allowed to show you, meaning that they've actually submitted something to the city, because right now they have not done so. But once I have them, I guarantee you I will have those out there and I'll be showing them all the way. Construction is set to start in the spring of next year. So it's going to be a busy construction season in the city of Riddlesburg next year as well.
I have a question,
Sure.
Mayor. Where is the Alliance going to be? What ward is that?
Oh, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Is that what that is?
That's correct.
There you go.
Ding, 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 ding.
And just to show you how much the Alliance has already become part of our community, they actually had a couple of people that are from the Alliance that were at Plant Reynoldsburg. They did volunteer a lot last year at the Tomato Festival. So they're definitely embracing, the Reynoldsburg way and the culture that we have here. So.
Oh yes, they're one of our sponsors. They have signed up 13 volunteers, and I got to meet one of the volunteers during before council on Monday when he picked up his shirt. So yes.
I understand it's good, and that's what it is about, bringing everybody together and working again for the betterment of the community. The next one, we have a little bit of news on the Rose Hill. So basically, we all know that there's been some issues out there with some of the development, just to make sure that the water retention and everything else is there, so nothing's put in place that's going to make flooding any worse. So we've definitely had our engineers out there. We've had EPA and all that just to make sure. So you should start seeing some movement on that to try and make sure that we're putting. And again, I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to screw up the terms, but basically making sure that the dirt is in the right place so the water doesn't make anything worse when it does rain. So that's about as basic of information that we can have in there. We also have started to see some movement at the Wagner Road area. This is on Wilson Ridge. Again, both of these locations are owned by the same company. They're going to be building moderately the same product. These are owner-occupied townhomes. These are going to be individually sold units for people to purchase, and then there'll be a homeowners association to help maintain all of those different types of things. Probably looking at the $250 to $350 price range as far as where it's going to be. So it's going to be a good product in there, and you're going to start seeing some movement on that. You're also going to see some movement on the Wagner Road project. So we have finally, the survey work is done. So we have all the survey work done from Main Street to Broad Street. Now our engineers are really digging into the phase 1 part of the project, which is Main Street all the way to Priestley. We should have a lot of that information back probably in about 2 weeks, and then throw in the 4th of July holiday. We're going to take some time to review that, and then that's when we're going to come out and talk with different property owners, have another meeting, and say what the impact is going to be. So we'll actually have that survey work to know exactly where the sidewalk's going to be, where exactly the multi-purpose path is going to be. So it's a big thing. That construction overall is going to start in August of 2023. So that'll be something that we're going to be talking about a lot as we move forward. I'm really excited about this project. I actually saw a Facebook post of somebody complaining about some concerns that they had on McNaughton Road. And we know the young girl who tragically lost her life there. So I'm enthusiastic that we're doing everything we can here in the city of Reynoldsburg to provide that pedestrian safety access and that connectivity all the way around. So we're looking for it. And if you're watching and you're part of the Wagner Road community, don't worry, we're going to be out there and talking to you and showing you the exact plans and all of that stuff in the not too distant future. All right. Well, again, big show. We do have the return of the farmers market. It was a great thing last week. It was packed the entire time. So this one, we got another one tomorrow night, and I'm not saying you have to get there right at 4 o'clock. You don't have to. You can get there from 4 to 7. There's a lot of things going on. Tyler's Pizza that was there. I think that they gave away a little pizza. They had a lot of different things. You know, we got a scone, and I can't remember what else we got there, but we did get something else. And I want to say probably by 4:30 they were pretty much out of everything. They had actually had to send somebody come back to the store and actually bring some other things in. So it was a great first impression for a business that's been in Reynoldsburg for a long time that wanted to go ahead and take advantage of that. Obviously, my kids' favorite are always the lemonade and the kettle corn. Tiny Baker's going to be there, and I'm going to kind of highlight a couple different ones every week. We also have the Simple Trinity clothing will be there as well, along with a number of other ones. With that, we also have the Food Truck Friday event this Friday. We have Grandpa's Hot Dogs. We've got Kona Ice. We've got Pizza Cottage. A good friend of mine is a big Pizza Cottage fan. So we asked, hey, do you want to do anything Friday night? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure whether, it depends. Maybe if I feel like it. I said, the Food Truck Festival has Pizza Cottage. He's like, yeah, we'll be there. So that kind of gives you that idea. The tortilla street food, and we're going to have a musical guest, Chaz and Nikki. I have no idea what kind of music it is, but it's Chaz and Nikki, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Chaz and Nikki, I like saying Chaz and Nikki, to see what they have there. There's some Juneteenth thing on Saturday. I don't know what that's all about. Something little. And then another event that we have, and this is talk about a jam-packed month for June. Next Saturday on the 25th is going to be our Pride Festival here in Reynoldsburg. It's going to be at Huber Park, again, from 4 to 8 p.m. A lot of things going on. So you'll have to tune in next week, though, to get a little bit more information about that. As a reminder, the Tomato Festival is now, we're getting there. We're getting really close to everything. So August 4th, 5th, and 6th are there. There's going to be rides, all the fair food, the activities. It's going to be a huge thing. We've got great musical acts. We're starting to get those opening acts for our big acts that we've announced there. So we're really looking forward to that. And then just a little bit later than that, we have on August 19th, it is the home opener for the Reynoldsburg Raider football team, but it's going to be a big celebration. It's against Upper Arlington, who I don't like because they beat us last year. It's a celebration of the first OCC championship season, and it's also it's a celebration of the first playoff win the Reynoldsburg Raider had in 2001. The new coach, who will be joining us probably in about a month or so, is going to come in, and we're going to talk about it. He's definitely drawing on the history, the legacy, and the tradition of Reynoldsburg to bring all of these groups in to actually build that program up in a way that we all want it to be. I'm really looking forward to it. I know you're a football mom too.
Oh yes.
So I'm really looking forward to that one. We do have our concerts on the lawn coming up as well. The next one is going to be Pop Gun, which is a little bit of pop and music, rock and roll at the Livingston House. Everything from the 60s to the 80s. So there'll be a great thing there, and we've already determined it's not going to rain that day. And
No.
apparently I have to get a big tent too, so we'll work on that. With that, that's all I have. Do I have any questions? Anything that's come up through?
I haven't gotten any today.
All right. Well, I'm curious, if you're out there and you're watching on Facebook right now and you have the opportunity, just throw out there, are you watching on Facebook, or did you actually check out our website and see it being broadcast on our website? I'm just curious to see it's there, because this is our brand new thing, that it's actually being broadcast on our website. So just kind of curious. But next week we will be back on the 22nd at 12 o'clock, and we're going to have one of your colleagues on council. Councilwoman Kristen Bryan is going to be with us. So she's going to talk a little bit about, I forgot one other thing. One of the sponsors as well, we do have, they presented actually at council, is the African American Male Wellness Agency is going to be having their walk on August 13th. So after you're done eating all the wonderful food at the Tomato Festival the first weekend of August, the second weekend of August, you can go get screened and find out how bad it actually is. So we've got that going for us. But with that, I do wish, go ahead.
I have one thing.
Yep.
Excuse
Nope,
the interruption. I'd like to share with you that the Riddlesburg Juneteenth Committee would like to thank you for all of your support. And so we have a lapel pin for you of the Juneteenth flag.
That's
Can you
awesome.
see that?
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd like for you to wear it
absolutely.
proudly whenever you decide to.
This doesn't go with the t-shirt though.
I wouldn't recommend that you wear it with
Okay.
the t-shirt.
But definitely, I think it'll go.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot. Thank you very much. With that, everyone, please stay safe, especially today. If you're feeling really hot, there's a couple of locations that you can go to. The Riddlesburg Library on Bryce Road is a cooling center. If you have any concerns, questions, please feel free and call Turo Township. Let us know. I talked to our construction crews actually and said if they get too hot, please come into City Hall. It is a hot day out there today. The heat index is huge. Try and stay cool as best as we can.
Drink water. Drink water. Not when you're thirsty. Drink water now, please.
Yep. And with that, stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put your shopping carts away. And I will see a lot of you out this Saturday at the Juneteenth Festival. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, Mayor. Bye-bye.
Thank you.